Hello Tech Genius, I am Ravi. Have you ever imagined a place where learning is as dynamic as the technology shaping your world? Then here's a deal. With iMatix, you can make sure the learning is exciting, impactful right from the beginning. You have interactive sessions with expert-led courses. In the world of tech, from data science to cloud computing, it's not just about a session, it's about doing, building, learning by solving real problems. So let's get started. We are going to do some evaluation function, which is kind of calculated field that do a kind of logical expression, that performs a kind of logical expressions. And it is used in most of the reports where you have any kind of evaluation kind of requirements, any kind of logical kind of data retrieval kind of requirements, evaluation function that can be used. As I was explaining yesterday on one of the requirements, like when employee is active, it has to be written A. When employee is terminated, it has to be written T. And when employee is on leave, it has to be written O. When the condition satisfies, you will be actually pulling those characters. And similarly, benefits. In most of our benefit scenarios, you will be seeing if employee is enrolled for medical plan, it should return M. If employee is enrolled for healthcare, it should return H. Such kind of use cases you will be getting. Similarly, there might be different cases. If employee gender is male, return M. If employee gender is female, return F. If anything else, return O kind of things. You know you will be doing some kind of evaluations, will be doing some kind of use cases. Now based on that, you can actually relate it to any of the scenario that we get. The process is we need to define some constant values and define some conditions. And when that condition satisfies, return these constant values, some kind of expressions that will be defining. Without writing the hard-coded expression, we'll be doing through calibrated field. This is used in most of the reporting where your logical retrieval is required. You will be using the same calibrated functions without writing any kind of expressions. We'll try to do that activity now. Now the filter is for active employees. Our report is not filtered with any of the scenario. What we can do is we'll try to build based on active status, employee. The calculated field should return status as an active, and for terminated, it should return terminated. For on leave, it should return on leave status. We will see that you will get to know all the three status in a single column. Because you're evaluating through calibrated field, all the three status you will be getting in a single column for each employee. Without this calculated field, you should be getting three different fields: terminated, active, and on leave. You will be getting three columns. It's hard to identify which employee is on leave, which employee is terminated, which employee is active. Active we can easily identify since most of the scenarios we will be seeing active status only. But in order to identify leave or terminated employees, this calibrated field should be helpful to have everything in a single column. We'll try to perform this. Active employees to be returned as active, and terminated employee status should be returned as terminated. And on leave employees should be returned as leave. These are the three status that we need to get for each employee in a single column. Now, first we need to define three constant values. Three constant values we need to define. Those three are active, terminated, and leave. We need to define three constant values. And then three conditions we need to define for each of the status. Active, term, and leave. We need to define three conditions and then call all these constants in evaluation. These are all the things we are going to do now. We are going to define three constant values. And then the conditions when the employee is active kind of conditions will be defining. And we'll group all this into one single function called evaluation. And when we use this evaluation in a report, this is going to evaluate when this condition is true, return this one. When this condition is false, return this one. This kind of execution, this evaluation function is going to do. This is what we are going to do. And this can be with any of the scenario. I've taken active, terminated, and leave. Probably you can take gender, male, female, or you can take healthcare plans. You can take any of the scenario and get the same process done where the evaluation is going to execute the thing. Now I'm going to create all these things. We're going to do the evaluation thing, which is a mixture of multiple computational functions. Our faults will be using text constant, and then we'll be using evaluation. I'm giving text value as an active. Just keeping this for my identification, there might be number of characters with the same name. I don't want to get messed up. The other way is to create new, or we can also do when we get more used. We can just copy. Another way, I generally do this in this way because rather than creating new thing, copy that and change the value. This is one of the ways of actually getting this. I'll have new version of calculator free created. I generally do this way whenever I work on calculator requirements. We have three text constant values. Now, what is the next step? We need to find three conditions. Since there is a new function, I am creating new. T is nothing but row or false. There is one, the lower field is employee active. It actually looks for accurate employee status. This student has that value. What is going to tell me? If the worker is active. It is going to check when employee is active. We have taken worker type as an employee and that employee should be active. When employee is active, the kind of criteria that it will be looking for. In most of the cases, when you're actually checking if worker is active, you need to know the things. If you're testing when worker is active, you need to know whether the worker is employee or contingent worker. There are two criteria. Even contingent worker comes in the worker. You need to ensure whether it is an employee or contingent worker. In most of the cases, employee would be the case that will be testing the active status. contingent worker. We are mostly not worried whether active or inactive or something. If you are actually doing any kind of worker related active status check, this is a condition that is going to help you to get accurate information. If you're doing worker, that might include even contingent workers also, but this is going to look for only employees whose active status is equal to S. Now one condition. Similarly, I'm going to have the other two conditions. Now this one. This is a working value. We're going to look for termination status. This is almost a least terminated. This is also one field that is looking for termination status based on the report execution date. This is going to be looking for your hazard date. We have the termination condition added. What is the next one? There are other values which are created as a text constant. Don't go for that one. The one that I'm looking for is a Boolean value which looks for employees only. Now we have 3 conditions and 3 text conditions. What is the next step that we need to do? What is the next step that we have to do with this? We have to build an evaluation expression. Oh, sorry, I should not put active status. I need to give a condition actually. I'm giving condition here when this condition is executing. When this condition is true, return this value. This condition is there. When nothing is there, when active status return, active turbidator return, turbidator on leave, return on leave. When nothing is returning apart from the condition, return an empty string. Empty value, return an empty value. Therefore would be empty value. And whenever this condition gets satisfied, these values will be returned. Now I'm going to use this in the report. Anyone have any questions on this? Anything not clear? Similarly, you can actually build with any of the categories. Let's say if it is gender, we will build calibrated field true or false. If gender is male, then it's constant as M. Gender is F, that takes context to many kinds of things. Or female, you get a kind F. Any other things bring a blank value or a kind of value that you lose to string here. Similarly, medical plans, you will be specified if employee enroll into medical plans, return M's. If employee enroll into accidental plans, return A. Healthcare plans, H kind of conditions also you can define based on your needs. But the concept will be the same for any of the case. What I'm going to see now in a single column I'm going to see are the three status of an employee. Let's see if access is restricting me to add a few things. I'm going to add a proxy as a logon. Let me see if I can add these things. Now we have employee status. You remember I think, when we are actually creating reports for employees who are inactive, we were seeing on leave employees. You can see now the difference we were getting, though we have taken a data source called all active employees. We were getting managers who are on leave. Sorry, I think this is different. This is the one that we need to consider. No, I think I was talking about different case. I think this should be the case. We are getting all active employees terminated. Extracting this cell should make better. Extracting the Excel. We can review the calculated field output. It's an anonymous time. It is not in this much time. If I wanted another termination, we are getting termination and active status in single column. And similarly, let's try for on leave status. We got active termination status. Accurately what we're looking for. On leave, as per the condition that we have written, it did not identify any proper on leave categorized employees. There are a few on leave, but they are not properly made employees on leave. I told you it too, when employee has to go on leave, there is a specific task where they have to go and give start date and end date. After that, they need to return them from leave. All those things people are not aware. They are actually doing incorrect transaction. For the condition that we have written here, it is not identifying the actual employee who went on leave. TCTA for function name is calculated ruler function's name. When you see TC, it is text constant. When you see TF, it is true or false. What true or false is doing? It is checking whether employee is active or not. It is checking if employee is terminated or not. It kind of if statement. If acting, if employee is active, it is kind of true or false. It is actually doing. TF is true or false. TC is text, constant function name. This is what we created true or false condition for employee active status. Terminate. Process is same, only the thing is the function you select is different. Here you have selected true or false. And that is the reason why you are going to do a condition here. But here text constant, you are defining a free text value, which is the word active. Text constant is nothing but a constant value. You are defining which type. The field type should be text. That is, which is to be shown in the report. What is that report? That is the value. This constant value will be displayed on the report. That is a constant value that is coming up in the report. When this condition is satisfying, this will be pulled into the report. This entire calibrated field has been added to the report. and this field will be doing a valuation. If this condition is true, return this value. If this condition is true, return this value. If this is not returned when nothing is true, return this one. The default value will be getting empty value. Based on what you define here, output will be returned in the report. Just take this as an example. I do not want to restrict only gender. Your own example you can create. If you are not able to think of anything else, just create gender. There are many ways that you can think. One is medical benefit plans and location. If employee countries, United States return different thing, different value, you can do some evaluation based on country, also based on gender, based on medical plan, based on any other thing that you can plan and define, evaluate its expression. When you do this, you will know the multiple step because we have created 7 calibrated field again. 3 floor first conditions, 3 text constants and 1 evaluated expression. You will get to know what each condition will be doing and what would be the value, how this evaluation is doing. You will get to know the function of evaluated expression which can be executed in a way to return the value based on the condition satisfaction. When you do, you will be understanding this one. Create with different areas like gender I said, country I said, but you can actually explore in different areas to get it done. Get this in for tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be going for different calibrated fields, single instance, multi-instance, counter-relating sense aggregates. Some related lot of important character fields are there. Slowly, we will actually get each one of the function to be done. If you are good with this evaluation, you will be able to handle most of the logical expressions in complex reporting. Just get hands on calculated field function called evaluate expression. Just try with any of the scenario. If you are not able to get try for gender, try country, at least 1 or 2 lines of work conditions. That should help you to think what we have discussed. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel.